Today I'm taking a look at the DD-75 from Yamaha. Going to show you guys some of my favorite presets that come on the unit. Going to show it being used as a MIDI controller for Superior Drummer, how it works in a live setting, in this case an open mic. And then at the end I'm going to get a little more in-depth with some of the details about it. So feel free to skip around if you're impatient. Let's get right to it. So before I ended this video, I just wanted to go into more detail about a couple of things about this unit in particular. So the DD-75 is actually an upgrade from the DD-65. It's physically just about exactly the same, except for this one's black and the old one is silver. Both the DD-65 and the YDD-60 are pretty much the same thing. Those were both in silver. And the layout is exactly the same, all the same buttons. There are some different features, though. It's got some different sounds on. It's got twice as many sounds. Some are brought over from the DTX Multi-12 or 12 Multi, whatever it was called. It's got a new default kit for preset 1, which I think sounds a lot more realistic than what they had for the DD-65. In fact, I don't really ever play anything but the default preset because I think it's that good. The only difference is I swap out the cymbal, the ride cymbal bell for a additional crash cymbal. There are a couple things that I noticed about it that I think are kind of weird and could have easily been fixed. They just want to spend a little bit more time in the development stages. So it does have a lot more sounds on it. Probably about like twice as many as the DD-65 did. But a lot of them are percussion, and I thought that was kind of strange because personally, I thought this was more geared towards people who've never played drums before, or people who just need a compact drum set. And sure, there are some people who are going to want to do like congas and timbales and stuff like that, but I have to imagine that for this market segment, that's going to be much more the minority. So there's not nearly as many cymbal sounds on this as I would like. In fact, sound numbers 211 and 217 are the same exact sample, which I thought was ridiculous. There's not any difference. They're the same sample. They're panned in the same side. That has to be just an oversight or something. I noticed the unit itself gets marks on it very easily when you accidentally hit the plastic with your stick instead of hitting one of the cymbals or one of the pads, and I thought that was kind of strange. I don't think the DD-65 got nearly this many marks this quickly. At least I don't remember when I had mine. But then again, having the unit in black, it just kind of attracts all kinds of extra marks. But that's not really the biggest deal in the world. One thing that is probably going to be a concern for some guys, if you're going to be using this for instead of programming drums, if you're going to use this with Superior Drummer, Easy Drummer, Get Good Drums, Addictive Drums, whatever, you're probably going to want to remap some of the pads to different notes. And the DD-65 had a bug where the open hi-hat note wouldn't actually transmit when you would open or close the hi-hats. And this one is only half fixed in this unit. If you leave it at the default configuration, it works perfectly fine. But if you try and remap any note at all, any pad on the unit, it's going to break that hi-hat. So once I remap the snare from a D1 to a C1, for example, or I think it was D2 to C2, I can't remember it. If I try and remap the snare note, then it ends up breaking the hi-hat. So I can have the hi-hat pedal open, but I'll hit the hi-hat and it'll transmit closed. I know I'm rambling here, but I'm almost done. So, but, you know, other than that, all these things are kind of nitpicks that I think most people who are buying this kind of thing probably aren't going to really care that much about. I mean, I think this thing is really good for having a super compact setup. I personally just like the ease of use. Just throw it in my car with a throne, and it just works really well. And in this case, I was actually using with a Yamaha kick pad and a DW kick pedal, but the pedals that come with it are okay. They're not the best, but you know, it's for $220 American. I mean, what do you want? So, any questions you have about this unit? Again, it's almost exactly the same as the DD-65. So there's plenty of information out on YouTube and all over the internet about that. But any questions you have about this specific one, feel free to leave in the comments. And if Yamaha has addressed any issues that I mentioned in this video, I'll make sure to mention that in the comments as well. Just let me know if there's anything you want to know about this. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe or don't. I don't really care.